Hello, and welcome back again. We are doing another round of, what do you reckon, cutting plantings today.
Yep. It's really exciting because we have tons of our little cuttings that we got, and Marvin is going to show everybody a new way of planting them that's cost effective and more space convenient. And so tell them.
Well, we're going to show you.
Oh, okay.
There's no point really telling.
Okay, but we do have a little surprise for you. Yesterday, in the wee hours of the morning, a little bundle of love was delivered into our home. Do you want to show them our little lemon plant?
Not right now,
Okay.
because I'm going to have to change cameras and change scenes and angles and all that kind of stuff. But stay tuned. We'll show you how one of the lemons that you propagated from seed, Jen.
Yep. I took the seed with my loving little hands, wrapped them in a little toilet paper because we didn't have paper towel, spritzed them all up, shoved them in a Ziploc bag, closed it up, and shut them in the drawer for a month. And then, behold, he had little shoots coming out, and now we have him out here, and he has come out of the ground. He's so cute.
But we planted 6, so one has popped up so far. We'll see what the others do.
Hey, good thoughts to our little lemon trees. His name is Pete 1. So if there's 6, we'll have Pete 1, Pete 2, Pete 3, Pete 4, Pete 5, Pete 6.
Yep. So today we've got probably about 100 cuttings that we need to pot up and allow them to form a root structure, a root ball. Mm-hmm. So we'll show you. Last time we showed you how we did that in these little growing pots, and it was okay. And then we put a little plastic bag over the top to create some kind of a microclimate. That was okay. I think that will work okay. But we're going to find another method. We'll show you how we're doing this today.
And we'll be able to show you 2 options for yourself. If you want to do this for yourself, you'll see how easy it is if you're moving and you have a favorite tree you don't want to leave behind. Bring your tree with you. This is how it's done.
Yeah, just give yourself plenty of time though before, if you are going to move. I don't know exactly how long it takes for the root structures to grow, but I dare say each variety is different. But
or if you have a child or a grandchild that's born and you want a tree to be the same age as your child so that the tree can grow with them, it's a great gift to give out people. And then at least your child or grandchild will have one tree that supplies oxygen for them. So the goal is to replace as many individuals on the planet, at least that many trees. So
all right, well, let's show you what we're doing. So the method that we're going to show you today uses these Ziploc bags, if I can get the dogs out of the way. So these are just standard Ziploc bags, large sandwich bags. So for those that can deal in the metric system, they're 22 centimeters in diameter, so tall and wide. So that's the size of them. And we've actually got 2 varieties. One that's got a single zip, which I don't prefer, but we just had a few of them. And then we've got another one, same dimensions, but it's got two little zips on them. And basically what we're doing is we're filling up 3/4 of the way through with the soil, the composted soil, and patting it down quite heavily, so nice and firm down the bottom. And that creates the basic structure. And then we're going to obviously put the stems in, and we can zip left and right of the stem. The stem's going to come out of the middle and therefore keep a microclimate in here so that it doesn't dry out. But the key here as well is to make sure that it doesn't rot. So I've been doing a little bit of research on the internet, and it seems that there are 1 of 2 reasons that rootstock like this won't take hold. So one is that it's too dry, too moist, and too much evaporation out of the leaf area, which is why a lot of people want bare stems, so no foliage on the stems at all initially, so that the root structures can grow. That's the important thing, is establishing the root structure as quickly as possible. That's the key, the goal here. And the foliage will grow later after the root structure is in place. So anyway, so that's that. So one of the reasons why it fails is that there's not enough moisture, or it's too hot, or it's too dry. In other words, the air is too dry, or it evaporates too much of the moisture through the leaf structure. The other reason it fails is the polar opposite of that: too wet, too humid, too cool.
Now, are we going to, just like the other ones that you potted, are we going to put Ziploc bags over the top of them as well?
I'd say maybe the ones... I'm going to try and do as many as possible without any foliage at all, so that there's no need for it. But yes, possibly. So I've just got a little cup here, and I'm filling up the bags, medium moisture. Which, by the way, is going to be my job in a little bit. As soon as we stop recording, and then I'm just patting it down and sort of getting a nice sort of firm, basically round structure. Not too high, because it needs to be enough vertical space so that you can actually do the zipping. And obviously you're going to be zipping from both ends and letting the stem come out. It's as simple as that. There's not too much more to say about that.
Well, the thing is, we were intending to use biodegradable bags, but they were too flimsy, right, babies?
Yeah, they're too flimsy. All right. So
this is the best use of plastic that I can ever think of, is to...
Right. Now, the other good thing about this is that because it's see-through plastic, and oh, by the way, you can write on with a little Sharpie or a permanent marker what's in the bag, the pot. So that's always a good thing. What was I going to say?
Baby, is it wrong to say you have the sexiest thighs I've ever seen in my life?
That would be wrong on multiple levels.
But I'm married to you, so I'm just putting it out there.
Oh, babies, grow up. So the other thing is you can actually see the root ball growing, and it gives you a sense as to when you can transplant. My goal here is to go from the plastic bag straight into its permanent home. So in other words, don't pot it in a larger pot. I'd love to be able to get them straight in their permanent home, which means that the roots, the stalk stem might only be that high with a little bit of foliage. Mm-hmm. So we'll see how it goes.
How long will that be? Like, are you thinking 6 months, a year?
I really don't know.
Okay, so we're discovering this stuff with everybody.
Absolutely.
This is our first try at all this, so send us your comments, send us your suggestions to people.
Okay. So just to show you exactly how this is going to work, so this is one of the remnant plum stems that we had from last time. I'm actually going to be taking out all of the foliage. Dogs, you can go out of the way. I'm just scoring the bark to give it a good chance of forming roots, and then dipping it in the rooting compound. This one is a gel, and then oops, I forgot to do this. All the way down the bottom, straight in, and then
oh, he feels happy in there.
Yeah, absolutely.
Let me get a close up.
That's going to be his home for the next, for as long as it takes for him to develop a viable root structure.
I think that's going to work really well. It looks really cozy in there.
Should be. So it's nice and compact. I've compacted it all down.
So they don't get watered at all?
No, I will be watering them in a second, and then you just ziplock them up and minimize the moisture loss, which is why I don't really want the foliage here.
So from time to time you will be watering them?
From time to time.
Okay.
Maybe 2-3 times during their, I don't know.
You'll know, instinct, you'll know.
it is by instinct, and what I do know is getting the moisture profile right is, that's one of the getting it wrong is probably the primary reason why the rootstock fails to take quick enough. So the whole point about this is that you want to develop the rootstock as quickly as possible to avoid root rot or the stem drying out.
But the it factor with us is we're sending encouragement and love and showing it the potential of being a huge, huge plum tree.
Yeah.
So holding the engram on it as well.
Well, holding that intention, yes. Oh, the engram.
For me, I use it as a visual. The visual of it, I impose it right over the little tree. I've seen it as a big mama tree.
Good. All right, so we'll stop recording and we've got about 100 of these to do,
yeah.
So we'll show you a little bit later. I will be watering them after this and then zipping them up, and then we just need to find somewhere to put them and just basically don't touch them for, as long as it takes to build the root structure. Oh, one other thing, you will be wanting to put some kind of drain holes in the bottom. So this just gives you a bit of a sense as to the magnitude of the task in front of us. We've got a whole bunch of figs. I think we've got about 50, 60 figs to plant out. We've got the remnants of our first cutting forage, and then we've got a whole bunch of new cuttings, peach, orange and apple from a lovely lady by the name of, I think her name was Kathy. She had a little farm. But we've got a whole bunch of strawberries that we need to plant out. We've got a whole bunch of peppers that need to go back into the ground because I keep losing them. Our basil is doing well, but have a little look at this. That little guy there is popping its head out and saying hello for the very first time. That's the little guy that I was talking about, that Jen was talking about. So of the 6 seeds, lemon trees from seed that were planted, this guy is just the bomb. So we'd love to see how many more take.
So we're back in our patio, ready to transplant more of our little saplings, saplings. What do we call them, babies?
Cuttings.
Cuttings into their own private little pots, their own little homes, which are Ziploc bags. Shh, don't tell them. And this is the first time, I don't know if you guys know this fun fact, but I grew up in a bait store. Yes, bait store. I know the difference between my swell worms, my leaf worms, my night crawlers, my leeches, my crabs. Anyways, my minnows, my shiners. Anyways, but this is the first time since I've been 14 that I've gotten to put my hands in a pile of manure dirt mix. So it brings back weird memories because the smell is really the same. So let's get on it, Marvin. Show them what we got.
Okay, so before we get into it, I just want to quickly show you where we ended up yesterday in terms of output. So all these little babies here are in their Ziploc bags, and there's a combination of apple, fig, peach and orange, and they've all got their individual little bags. They're all Ziploc. They're in a almost their own microclimate in the soil, and we'll see whether they propagate roots quick or quicker than the potted version. These are just large sandwich bags, so, and they've got a double Ziploc up the top, which I kind of like a lot. So that's that little bit, and then Jen, you are having fun in the soil.
We're creating these little homes for our little sprigs, and then we label them. But here's a technique you can use, a healing technique. So visualize your pot of dirt as the earth itself. Change your vantage point to being above the earth, and this is all of earth. Pour all of your love and intention and healing everything into your dirt. And as you scoop in the dirt into the little bags, pour into it all the love and intention of propagating the whole earth with healing trees, healing fruit trees, feeding the world, easing the suffering, releasing all the pain. So you create such a loving environment. And each little bag of potting soil that you create, that you are actually sending out these love bursts to the earth. Now when these go into the ground eventually, it'll seed all of the earth crust and core with your love and intentions. And the more that you practice this technique, the stronger it becomes, and the more of us that practice this, the more empowering it becomes, and this is the way we heal the whole planet.
All right. So we won't show you too much more of this. It's basically the same technique that we've shown you yesterday. What I do want to... Oh, we've got some cacti in the background. We think they're actually aloe vera, but...
Actually, we're told they're not, but they're the cousin of aloe vera.
Okay.
But they're going to be really beautiful on the property.
Yeah, okay. So we've got about... I think we counted them up. We've got 50 cuttings here, and they're just going to be resting and creating root structures as quick as possible. And I've just laid down our 4th strawberry bed. So that's that. I've got a whole bunch of peppers and chilies that I need to plant in their permanent home. These are the potted versions of the cuttings that we did about 3 or 4 days ago, and these in the little jars, they're currently sitting in water. That's our task today. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4 more jars. We've got a lot of fig. I can see we've got some remnant of apple, and I think we've got some peach in the background as well from Kathy's farm. You remember, well, you might actually remember, I just put up a video called Reviving Heritage Fruit Trees, something like that. So take a look at that video. And of course, never to be outdone, I wanted to quickly show you Jen's very cute little lemon tree that she's propagating from seed, of all things. And of course we've got our basil as well. All right, dogs are barking in the background. There's our little backyard. It's raining a little bit, so we're up on the balcony and we're doing our things. We'll show you what all the end result is.